Welcome to the culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, music, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. It's a lifestyle. We are the culture. Hi, and welcome to the culture. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett Motkins, and joining us today is Yolanda Cash Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're in the midst of a very, very public political situation where moves are happening right before our eyes, especially in Florida. I would like to start the discussion with your organization, Win with Black Women Florida. How did it begin?
So I always tell people it's not an organization, it's a collective.
Okay.
And it started in August of 2020 at the national level, where a group of women got together and decided that they wanted to counter the racist attacks and sexist attacks against then candidate Biden, announcing that he would consider a Black woman as his running mate. And so that call to action started in an email that started Sunday night's calls, started with 90 women, and now are thousands of women all over the country. And so about a year ago, I decided that we needed to have something similar in Florida to create a platform for Black women to talk about issues, to get information, to also deal with the racist attacks that were going on against Blacks and women. And so that's how we started. And so Win with Black Women Florida is a collective of intergenerational Black women from across the state of Florida.
And that is remarkable, Yolanda, because there, in my opinion, it was almost as if you were primed for this determined time to pull together this body of women. It's remarkable. It really, really is. What has been some of the feedback from some of the ladies who joined you?
So we have been, I won't say secretive, because we invite all Black women who want to be a part of the collective to get on. And that's surprising to a lot of people. So that's one reaction. It's like, you mean I don't have to be an elected official? I don't have to be a Delta? I don't have to be a K Zeta? I don't have to be a Link? No, you just need to be a Black woman interested in that goal, and that is to eliminate the racist and sexist attacks against Black women. We also have a goal of making sure that we elevate and support Black women across the state. It doesn't have to just be elected officials, it can be others. So the reaction has been remarkable. We've covered all different kinds of subjects, and everyone enjoys having a platform. So the reaction has been amazing.
And what is your goal, or what is your, well, you mentioned that, but what's your mission?
Well, I just want Black women like myself and others to have a platform where we can come and discuss issues freely. We can get real information. We can support each other. And that's it. There's no agenda. I'm not getting paid. We aren't sponsored by. It's just a bunch of women that are getting together to make sure that racism and sexism is eliminated.
How instrumental do you believe that you said that organization, your collective,
Mm-hmm.
has been in some of the races that we've seen? I want to cite the work that you all did for Vice President um, Kamala Harris. Can you give
So listen, it has been amazing the work that they've done. So let's start with Kamala Harris. Getting a Black woman on the ballot, then making sure that Kamala Harris was elected, but more than just elected, but elected fairly, so that we could look at her qualifications. Working with Senator Warnock in Atlanta, working with in supporting Stacey Abrams in her efforts to make sure that Warnock got elected. And of course, the latest and the greatest, uh, well, in between that, let me just say, we also saw Christian Clark, who's going to be here in South Florida next week. We saw her get appointed. We've seen federal judges get appointed throughout the country. We haven't seen our first Black woman appointed under the Biden administration yet in Florida, but we expect that that is a possibility. And so, and then of course, the creme de la creme, what happened just last week.
Yes, so go ahead. Let's get into that discussion. So we have Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's historic confirmation.
Right.
Tell us about the work that you all were so successful in doing with her confirmation.
Well, I wish I could take credit, but the great thing about this collective is that we all get to take credit to say that we as a collective did it. There's some women in Washington D.C. that are absolute masterminds at this process. They've worked through many presidential administrations. They are labor leaders. They are business leaders. They are CEOs, all of those women that got together and put their collective strengths together to make sure that we had social media. We had 77 um, million impressions, well, 55 million on just the hashtag confirm Judge Brown, and then another 700 million, if I'm correct, 700 million impressions for the hashtag Women Black Women since its inception. So, everybody did what they do well. And we communicated and we got the message out and we attended. I didn't get a chance to attend because we had watch parties. So, but we wanted to make sure that since there were no Black women currently in the United States Senate, that when Judge Brown Jackson was sitting in that seat, that she did not feel alone. And I think we were successful at doing that. And there were attacks. And I always tell people, listen, the Bible tells us that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. It doesn't say that it wouldn't form. So the weapons formed, but we did prosper. So I'm very excited about that. But that was a collective effort across the country, led by these brilliant women out of DC that came together in August 2020.
And then let's come a little home. Let's talk about the local initiative that
Mhm.
you were supportive of and bringing the local women groups together. Tell us about your watch party.
So that was, once again, we agreed, you never say you have time enough to do something. And I would be remiss if I didn't give kudos to you for making sure that you put all of the logistics in place to make it absolutely fabulous. But we decided that we would join in the national effort, and there was a national feed, a website, a live feed that we all joined in on, sponsored by Higher Heights, which is a political action committee sponsored and supported and funded by by Black women. And so Black women all over the country were watching the confirmation. And we had locally the Divine Nine, the Links, the Gwen Cherry Bar Association, the Haitian Lawyers Association, and elected officials and Equal Ground. We had many other groups that were involved that came, their leaders came to watch the confirmation, the hearings,
Mhm.
and then the confirmation.
And speaking on the hearing, what was some of the memorable moments
Mhm.
that you won't ever forget?
Oh, well, certainly Cory Booker. No one can forget the Cory Booker, I have your back, which is what really we wanted to make sure that she understood. I think that was memorable. I think her opening speech, where she talked about her faith and the way that she talked about it and talked about her parents and her family, certainly was very much reflective for me as to how I would have started out, unapologetically supportive of her family. Certainly the look of her daughter that's been all on social media, the forehead kiss from her husband. Certainly, probably the one that stuck out the most is one that people don't talk about, and that's watching her parents
Mhm.
sit there through all of that, particularly her father, who I got a chance to know as a young lawyer when he was working for Dade County Public Schools. But you know, his composure was unbelievable, and you say, you know what, she get it from her daddy, because I would have, if that would have been James Cash. Oh yes, Ted Cruz might have, his face might have been a little disfigured.
Yolanda, I applaud you because, and this was one of the main reasons why I wanted you to come on, because there are very many people doing work behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the work that you do in the community and for the betterment of our society is not something that you're doing to be grandiose or to be propelled on a platform or to even have your name mentioned. Many times you don't want me to put your name on things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the work that's done behind closed doors that really has a lot to do with how we as a people are continuing to press conversations and movement that needs to happen within the community, not just locally, but a whole. So congratulations on that.
Oh,
Stay
thank you.
encouraged because that is not work for the meek. You face a lot of hurdles. And as it relates to that, now that we have Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, now that
Mm-hmm.
she has been confirmed, what does that mean and what is next?
Well, we have a lot of work to do. That's just one small step. First of all, we need to continue to pray for her because she will be in rooms that no other Black woman has ever been in. And those of us who have been in that situation, we need constant prayer. And sometimes it's small. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe you're the first Black woman in your office, the first Black woman to start a company like yours. She's going to need lots of prayer. So let's just start there. Then we have some things that we need to do locally and some things that we need to do at the state level. We need to stay connected to each other. We need to support each other. And we need to continue to eliminate the racist and sexist attacks on Black women specifically and African Americans generally, or the underserved generally. Because it's not just happening to African Americans. We have to make sure that we are able to stand tall on what this country was founded on and why we came here. I mean, I talk often about my great grandparents came here in 1905, standing on the same promise that the folks that came on airplanes. They came here looking for an opportunity and to help build Miami, and they did it. And therefore, as their descendant, um, I am entitled as an American the same rights and privileges. Dottie Joseph, I'm sorry, Representative Dottie Joseph spoke on the floor day before yesterday when they were talking about redistricting, and she went through the steps of the Dred Scott decision and others. And as a lawyer, you can't help but be compelled to keep going because we have much work to do.
We're going to put a pin in it, and for one moment, we'll come right back after this commercial.
Okay.
Join the Homestead CRA for its very first Eats and Beats food truck party on Saturday, May 7th from 5 to 10 p.m. at Old City Hall on the corner of Campbell Drive and US 1. This free event will have a DJ. Eventbrite.com for more information and to register. Join us May 7th for the party.
Thank you all for sticking with us. Now, Yolanda, you spoke about the work that still needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And this week you were able to meet up with many of the women who have been very instrumental in getting the word out the support that Justice Brown Jackson was looking for and what you all wanted to do. Tell us about your We Did It gathering.
Oh, we did it. Listen, I believe in celebrating each milestone. And and there we are, just celebrating just what we did. We did it. We did it. We set a goal. And you know how it is. When you set a goal and you actually make the goal, you have to celebrate it, whether it be 5 pounds or 50 pounds. Each pound that you do is important. And so we just got together. Some of us had never met. We've only met virtually. So to be able to see folks that came from Orlando, Palm Beach, Boca, and some right in Miami Gardens was just wonderful. And to have it in Miami Gardens was symbolic in itself.
Awesome. Awesome. I think that is amazing. Where we are right now in our world, you can have such power and not even physically meet someone, just doing all of this work over the phone and then virtually on utilizing all of our technology. And then I know you mentioned this a little earlier. There's legislation that's going on at the state level. It's affecting us here locally. There were a number of Black Democratic leaders who gathered earlier this week and spoke out against many of the things that are going on. I wanted to get your take, advice for our watchers, and any type of call to action that you can give them to be supportive against many of the recent actions of our governor.
So my call to action is vote. Or as my grandmother would say with her Bahamian accent, vote. Vote. Go vote. Make sure that everybody in your house votes. And then stay informed. This voting thing is nothing to play with. One of the things that has surfaced is the discussion of voter turnout. And the way that the lines are drawn, there are districts, particularly the Congressional District 5 and 10, that will have, if those maps stand, that will have different representation than they've ever had. They got used to. I think in District 5, they've had an African American representing them since 2017, and then District 10, I guess probably a little bit before that. But we need not go that far. In 1992, when first African Americans were allowed to go to Congress, Congresswoman Carrie Meek was the first, then Corrine Brown and the late Alcee Hastings. That was 1992. So we still have work to do, and we're going back. We're going to have one less than what we thought that we should have. So listen, you have to stay informed. You have to vote. We have to get everybody who can vote to vote. We have to speak out. We have to support our elected officials. And that's even if you may not live in a certain type of district. The district that I live in happens not to be the same party affiliation, but they still hear from me. And, I'm in a space where I have to look on both sides of the aisle. And I'm used to doing that. And I will continue to do that and share as much information as possible. Stay informed and vote.
And vote. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming and joining us and giving us all of this information. I know our viewers appreciate it, and we want to always invite you back if there's anything that your your collective is embarking upon. You have our support. And thank you to the Culture family for joining us. Make sure you come right back here tonight at 6 p.m. for another edition of My 2 Cents. Grab a drink, set your alarm clock for the shenanigans. Check us out live on Facebook, on YouTube Live, or on Video Mix TV. That's it for us for right now, and we'll see you next week.
The Culture is produced and owned by the Culture Media Group and cannot be reproduced or broadcast without written consent. All all rights reserved.